Check that you're sitting up as tall as you can, gently lifting the top of the head, maybe a slight forward tilt of the pelvis, maybe a slight engagement of the abdomen. Not squeezing the muscles, but noticing, can I get a little taller as you continue to inhale and exhale. We'll do our best to keep the belly relaxed while we're here. Obviously, you may be using your core to stay upright, but try to see if you can find a place of expanding as you breathe in, and even softening more as you breathe out. Let's gently tuck the chin to the center of the chest. So if your eyes are open, you're looking down at the ground, or the eyes can stay closed. We'll continue to breathe in and out here as we breathe, thinking about the back of the neck. Taking your time here to check that you're not squeezing your shoulders forward or back or up or down. Checking that you're not holding your head up, see if you can let it hang. Gently open the jaw, teeth away from each other, lips slightly parted, and breathe in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And then allow the teeth and lips to close, just checking in that spot that you're not squeezing your teeth together, clenching your teeth. Same with the eyes. You'll gently open the eyes if they're closed, and then slowly close them. Check that they're just settling on top of the rim of the eye instead of squeezing closed. And gently shake the head side to side, slowly just turning the head a little bit to feel out the neck a little. And we'll bring both hands down to the ground, palms face down next to our hips. Fingers point away and out. The left hand is going to stay on the ground for now. Right hand can lift out to the side, over your head. And you can lift your head up as if you were going to look at your fingers. Breathing in here, reach up as high as you can with the right hand. And then when you're ready, exhale, reach over to the left. Starting to stretch the side. Keep both hip bones on the ground and allow your left hand to be a gentle support, bending the elbow, relaxing the left shoulder. You're welcome to walk your left hand further out to the side if you would like. And continue to deepen into this side stretch. We're going to hang out here for a little while. 3 breaths at least. So as you inhale and exhale, see what you can soften. Can you bend the elbow a little bit maybe? Relax the fingers even if it feels good. Maybe let the head hang. See how that feels. As you breathe in, feel that expansion in the right side of the body. As you exhale, release that awareness. With your next breath in, notice whatever part of your body is calling your attention the most. Exhale and release that awareness. And then from here, we're going to allow the right elbow and hand to come forward over the left knee, leaning around. So we're just stretching kind of over the left knee. If you can bring your right hand all the way down to the ground, you can even look up and take a look at your fingertips and then relax the head, almost like you're trying to get your forehead onto your left knee. Breathing here, just stretching the side, the back and side a little bit, outer obliques. And then we'll walk the palms into the center. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. Just stretching forward gently, allowing the back to round, relaxing the head. Going as far forward as you would like to. It doesn't have to be far. You can keep your hands close to you if it feels like a really intense stretch. We're just getting a little bit deeper into stretching the hips as well here. But the spine should be round and head should be relaxed. So you're not creating tension in the neck. There's a lot of sensation in the back of the hips and possibly in the back, lower or middle. we'll walk our hands in towards the ankles, using your arms to help you come upright. And again, maybe gently opening the eyes, opening the mouth, breathing in, exhaling. And then if you'd like to, closing the eyes again, gently closing the lips and teeth. Bring the right hand by our side, fingertips point out, near the hips, and then the left hand reaches out to the side, up over the head, inhaling and reaching up as high as you can. When you're ready to exhale, leaning over towards the right side, letting your right ear come down towards your right shoulder and stretching up and over at first. You can walk that right hand further out if you would like, maybe bending the right elbow to get deeper and deeper into the side stretch. Keeping both right and left hip on the ground, so if you need to back off in order to do that, please do. We want our grounding, and we want to check that the knees and hips are not super tight, squeezing everything, and try to relax them. If it helps, you can bounce them around a little bit. If it's available to you, you're welcome to lower your right elbow onto the ground if it feels good. Might be really intense, might feel great. Let the head relax. Relax the tops of the hand, relax the fingers, relax the elbows a little bit even. Just soften wherever you can here, and as you continue to breathe, bring your awareness into the sensations that are happening in your body. Think about, where am I feeling the most intense, most accessible feeling? What do I feel in my body that I understand? Think about that first. Maybe it's a stretch in the side, maybe it's pressure in the hands, maybe it's pressure in the neck or a stretch in the neck. And then on your next breath, bring your attention to anything that feels a little bit painful or confusing. And as you exhale, release that awareness, and then gently allow the left hand to come down to the ground or gently maybe in front of the left knee. And then right hand is going to be behind the left knee, and you're just turning your body a little bit, almost like you're going to come to face the same direction as your fingertips. Relaxing the forehead, like you're trying to get your forehead onto your right knee. And breathing here, noticing the sensations, how it feels to breathe when you're in this more kind of prone position, if it changes the depth of your breath. When you take a deep breath in, where do you feel that? How does it change the sensations? As we stretch our sides and backs a little bit here, we want to make sure we're not letting a lot of tension creep into the head and shoulders, so gently shake the head. And then we'll slowly begin to walk both hands out and then into the center. So you want to kind of stretch those fingertips out so your hands and arms can be reaching forward. And when you get to the center, head over the feet, relax the head by shaking the head a little bit, nodding the head a little bit. And then if you'd like to, you can relax those arms, maybe the elbows even come down. Maybe the palms even roll up. And we're just stretching over our feet, over our legs, deeper stretch for the hips. We're going to go ahead and walk the elbows up and actually place the elbows on top of the feet if it's available to you, and just foot massage with the elbows a little bit, just a little bit of walking forward and backwards with your elbows on your heels and the soles of your feet. Feeling that pressure and connection. And then we'll go ahead and bring the hands down, walk the hands back up to the ankles. Bring the hands out to the ankles and just squeeze the ankles, grab onto like the Achilles with your heel. And then firmly squeeze your calves and shins, giving yourself a little self-massage here, doing what feels right. Maybe getting the thumb onto the inside of the calf here and on the back. And then we'll go ahead and place the palms onto the knees, just feeling the warmth of the palms on top of the knees. Thinking as you inhale, gathering energy, healing, strength, and supportive energy, relaxing energy to your knees as you exhale, sending some energy into the right knee. Inhaling, gathering that healing, strength, support, and as you exhale, sending some of it into your left knee. And then continuing to move the hands up onto the thighs, feeling the warmth of your palms against your top of your thighs as you squeeze and massage your way up to your hips. Maybe circling back around to the middle, feeling the thighs, inner thighs, outer thighs, whatever. Do what feels good, but just make connection with your hands and your body. And then we'll go ahead and bring the hands to the outsides of the knees and help guide our knees in towards each other. Bring the soles of the feet down onto the ground and slide those feet out in front of us for forward fold. So the feet will eventually straighten out, flexing and letting the toes point up towards the ceiling. Once you get here, just pop the knees up and down a little bit. Rotate the ankles out and then in or side to side in unison with each other, just moving and rotating the hips a little bit. Squeeze the toes, stretch the toes out, and then point your toes, flex your toes, whatever. Move a little bit around with the ankles here. And then we'll just sit up nice and tall. Think about your pelvic bones and like your hips. And instead of leaning back, try to tilt them forward. You can place hands on the ground to help you with this and then flex the feet naturally. You don't have to like super hyper flex, but just flex them so the toes more or less point up. And then we'll tuck the chin again. This time we'll squeeze the shoulders forward and kind of round the upper back for a breath in. And then exhale, expand shoulders back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, shoulders back and down. Feeling this movement as we pull the scapula forward, rounding the back. And then pull the scapula back, expanding the chest. 2 more, inhaling, roll the shoulders forward. Exhaling, shoulders back. And last one. And we'll keep the hands by the sides as we start to pull the chest forward. You want to think about hinging at your hips, lifting with the chest, because we're really trying to get into the legs here and use the strength of the back a little bit to get a nice stretch for the back of the legs. You can begin to walk your hands forward if you like. And if this starts to feel too intense on the middle or upper back, you can gently bend the knees or gently round the back just a little bit. But as much as possible, keep the center of the chest reaching forward towards like the big toes. Gently tuck the chin so that you can picture a strong straight line coming through the top of your head, down through your neck, connecting with your spine and drawing all the way down to your tailbone, like it was an arrow or cascade of water gently flowing straight from the top of your head down to create a pool behind you. And the longer we stay in these forward folds, sometimes the more intense they can become. So any little adjustments are welcome. But you try to settle into stillness, and we'll hold this for 3 to 5 breaths. So I would recommend making any last adjustments you feel you need to with your positioning. Maybe you want to lean forward a little bit more. Maybe you want to bend the knees a tiny bit. And then start to focus on the sensations you're feeling. Where is the biggest, most recognizable feeling happening in my body as I breathe in and as I breathe out? What feels the most, is calling to my attention the most? Maybe hurts or pulls a little bit. If it's painful, back out of it, make it softer, bend the knees more, walk up a little bit. You don't need to force anything, but if the sensation feels good and you like it, and you want to find out what your edges are, then you're welcome to try to deepen a little bit. by lifting the chest up on your inhale. And then as you exhale, leaning forward, hinging deeper into your forward fold. And welcome to let the head hang. And then we'll slowly allow the back to round as it feels comfortable to you. So you can begin to hang a little bit more over the legs here. We'll slightly, gently sway side to side, just easing out and sort of thinking about lengthening the spine a little bit, maybe almost inching the spine longer by swaying side to side. And maybe walking the hands forward as you do so, eventually finding a connection with either shin or ankle or feet. And allowing the arms to be very heavy, gently bending the elbows, pouring your head forward over your knees. And again, the feet are gently flexed here. Maybe a tiny bend in the knees to relieve pressure, or if you feel you don't need to, then don't. And continue to stay in stillness here to deepen the sensation and stretch and awareness. Where am I feeling the most sensation? And we'll slowly, slowly walk the hands up the legs, gently pushing into your legs to start to push yourself upright once more. When your body comes upright, bringing the knees in, feet onto the ground, hands behind the knees, and we'll prepare for a boat pose by lifting the shoulders up, taking a huge breath in, and then completely emptying out, pulling the belly button in and up as we do so. Trying to feel your lower abdomen here. Start with the hands behind the knees and possibly challenge yourself to do this with the eyes closed. It is a balancing position, so that can be difficult. Maybe start with the eyes open and then close the eyes partway through. Or we'll bring the knees to touch, toes and heels to touch, and lean back until the arms are almost straight. Lift the chest up, almost exaggerating the arch in the spine. And then on an inhale, lift the feet up as you gently lean back, trying to find your balance on your sit bones. Continue to raise the feet until they come up in line with the knees. And then breathe in and out. While you're in this position, see if you can release tension that might creep into the shoulders and neck, possibly by gently moving the shoulders and neck. Remember to use the legs to squeeze them in towards each other to help make the legs support more of their own weight. And then think about that lower abdomen at your belly button or below, and think about pulling it in and up. Breathing. Sometimes it helps to exhale through the mouth when we get into these more challenging stretches and positions. And you're welcome to release the hands away from the legs if you want to challenge yourself further. Do your best to release the clenching of the jaw, maybe bring a serene expression to the face if it feels good, or possibly just open the mouth gently to exhale. And then we'll slowly lower the feet down, bring the hands back behind the knees, roll yourself forward over your knees. Walk the feet out just a little bit so your knees are bent a little less, and then relax the arms down, rest the head on the knees, or just pour over the legs. Release and relax here for a moment. Try to find that place where your lower back can really just hang out. Sometimes these movements can be challenging for the back, so you need a break in the middle. Let's go ahead and walk the hands up to your sides. Lift the head and chest up and
make our way onto our hands and knees, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, or wrists rather, underneath shoulders and elbows, knees underneath hips, with a little bit of space in between the knees and toes. Can be tucked for now. Getting situated here, let's make sure the fingers are spread wide and the middle finger points straight forward towards the short end of the mat. Feel your knuckle pads on your hands press down into the mat. Take a moment to notice the stability of this position, what interaction you're having between your body, the floor, whatever else, and make any little movements you would like to as well, just to deepen that connection and understanding your own body, how it feels. And then we'll start to wake up the shoulders a little bit by letting the chest fall down slightly, scapula comes together, and almost like it's kind of like a shrug, like a shoulder shrug, but instead of the shoulders coming up towards your ears, they're coming up towards the ceiling here. And then we'll push up and out of it, expanding the scapula. Chest rises a little bit. So we're literally just keeping the arms straight, keeping the neck pretty neutral, lifting, pushing the chest up, releasing the chest down. Just to slowly feel that weight of the shoulders. To challenge this more, you could do it in more of like a plank or supported plank position, but we don't want to go crazy with the shoulders. We literally just are trying to be like, hey, there's muscles here, we need to use them. All right, great. And then we'll kind of go into that extended position and hold it. So pushing the ground away, feeling the space between the shoulder blades. We'll take our attention to our lower abdomen, and again, imagine pulling it in and up like we did for our boat pose, thinking about making the back as flat and smooth as possible. And continue to keep awareness of that part of the body as you reach your right hand forward and turn the palm in like you're reaching to shake somebody's hand. And then start to tap the left toes onto the ground behind us, straightening the leg out. And just check, is my belly pulling in? Is my back feeling straight? Before we can flex the left toes and lift the left heel up. As you continue to lift this left heel up, using the strength of your leg and your core, don't let the hips come up. Don't let the back drop. Try to keep everything straight line, like from your thumb to your heel would be a line instead of a curve. Just waking up our balance a little bit more, challenging the core a little bit more, using the strength of the shoulders and the chest here. And with our left foot, let's start to make a little bit of circles with the ankles. So just rotating the ankle around one direction and then the other. And then we'll go ahead and just flex that left ankle, keep it up in the air. We'll do the same thing with the right. We'll make a fist with the right hand and make a circle, and then go the other way. And then release right hand down to the ground, left knee down to the ground. Reset, check in with right and left hand on the ground. Check in with right and left knee. And then we'll lift the left hand up, turn the palm to face in. Stretch the right leg back so the toes still touch the ground. And you can feel the length coming through the heel, the leg, the chest. And when you're ready to flex the right foot and lift the heel up, keep your attention on your back and your core so you don't drop the back down. Keep pressing down into the right hand so that the right and left shoulders expand away from each other slightly. And breathe in and out. We're finding our stability here first. And then noticing how we're challenging our balance, how we're challenging our core. And if you can lift the heel a little higher, the thumb a little higher without compromising that flatness of the back, then feel free to do so. but it's just not as important as keeping your back flat and your belly engaged. And I'll start to make some circles with the right ankle. Just drawing circles with the big toe. And reversing the other way. And make a fist with the left hand. Flex the right toes. And just circle the left fist in one direction. And then in the other. And return right hand down, left hand down, right knee down. Let's go ahead and widen the knees. Bring the big toes to touch. And settle the hips back on top of the heels. Walk those hands far forward and release the forehead down to the ground. Find your child's pose and relax the elbows. Gently roll the head from one side to the other to make sure that you're not clenching and tightening the neck unnecessarily. Open the mouth to exhale. Do that again, inhaling and then opening the mouth to exhale. Now we'll seal the lips and inhale and exhale through the nose. In this position, we're gonna do a bumblebee breath or a sense-limiting breath. We'll wrap our lips around our teeth to press the lips together. And then inhale through the nose. And exhale long, steady. We'll repeat 2 more, inhaling and then exhaling until you're completely out of air. Once more here. We'll follow that with some silent inhales and exhales through the nose. Just feeling your body and the vibrations you brought into your body. Allowing this position to release and relax the back and bring some stretch into the hips. And slowly lift the forehead up off the ground. Bring your gaze up so you can look at your fingertips. And rise forward onto the forearms. Bring the knees together underneath you. Bring the forearms a little bit closer together, or the elbows a little bit closer together, so you can grab onto the biceps and check that you're going to create a firm foundation for yourself. Set those fingertips right back out. Middle finger faces forward, and our hands and fingers stay glued to the ground. As you tuck the toes under, press down into the elbows and lift the hips and knees up for a dolphin pose. So we're continuing to press the shoulders back towards the thighs and use that strength of the shoulders and upper back here. The heels are fine to rise up off the ground a little bit. You can gently pedal right heel a little closer to the ground as you bend the left and vice versa. Feeling that deep, intense stretch in the backs of the legs, just like when you do downward dog. We'll go ahead and inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth twice here. Releasing tension from the jaw.
gently lower the knees down. Bring your gaze up again, looking at your fingertips, and push up onto your hands and knees. We'll untuck the back toes, slither our weight forward to the front of the mat with the shoulders high over the wrists, and then lower down, elbows grazing the chest, all the way to the ground. You can keep the hands right underneath the shoulders, so if you need to adjust a little bit, maybe sliding back or forward, and then bring the tops of the feet down to the ground, feet close together, maybe touching. Forehead gently rests on the ground. Take a long breath in and out. Begin to feel your legs squeezing in towards each other, just like they did in boat pose. So you're pulling legs in together to create what feels like one long tail behind you. And then we'll go ahead and pull the elbows in as well, shoulders down and back. Gentle pressure on the ground, very little weight on the hands as you begin to lift the head up. And press down into the hips as well, squeezing the muscles in the glutes to do this. Think about as if you had something cold underneath your belly and you want to try to lift the belly button away from the ground almost. That's the amount of tightness and engagement you want to have in your core here. As you continue to try to lift the shoulders up, nose points down straight at the ground, and hands can hover or support you, whichever feels better for your back. You're using mostly the strength of the back to lift yourself up here. Now if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more on the next exhale, we'll squeeze the legs up a little bit. Trying to really think about pushing those toes back so the legs stay really straight and gently hovering or maybe keeping hands on the ground. If you have your hands on the ground and you're using them for support, think about almost like you were going to drag your mat back so you get some traction to lengthen the spine. So here, our locust pose to strengthen the entire back body, especially that muscles we use all day when we're sitting and we have to round our shoulders forward to sit all day. You have to work to oppose that, to pull the shoulders up and back. So this is hopefully going to strengthen and release some of the tension on the upper body. And then we'll release the hands down. Go ahead and bring fingers and hands to stack on top of each other and just relax the head on top of the hands. You can turn your head to the left or right. You can let the feet relax, the heels roll out, and the eyes can close. Breathing here, feeling your belly press down into the ground, expand and contract as you breathe. And noticing any other parts of your body that seem to move as you breathe as well. And we'll go ahead and kick the heels up so your heels come close to your buttocks, and just gently sway the feet side to side, letting the hips come up off the ground a little bit as you do this, if it happens. You don't have to force it, but don't feel bad if your hips move, basically. Relax those feet back down, tops of the feet back down onto the ground. Feet come close together once more. Hands come underneath the shoulders once more. This time we're going to go for a cobra position. So more support in the arms, still pressing down into the feet and the hips and engaging the belly a lot. This time, as you rise up, continue to squeeze the shoulders down and back, the elbows in, and press down into the fingers gently to lift yourself up off of the mat. Hips will stay on the ground, and if it feels like you need to adjust the hands, please feel free to. Sometimes it's a little more stable with the hands further out, but just squeeze those elbows in, tuck the chin gently so your nose is pointing at the short end of your mat,
And think about the length of your spine as you pull your shoulders down. And think about trying to pull like you're making your belly longer, like you were a snake trying to slither along using the strength of your, muscles, your abdomen. Keep pressing the feet down into the ground. Breathing here as we stretch and curve the back in a new way. Maybe lifting the chest and chin slightly to expand the front of the throat if you would like to for your last 2 breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Noticing how the breath feels as it enters this extended position. And then lowering down, stacking the hands once more, this time turning your head to the opposite direction. And right away just kicking the heels up, swaying the heels side to side, before eventually letting the legs settle onto the ground and relaxing in our bellies for another couple of breaths, softening, releasing any sensation or tension in the upper body and the lower body. Getting that comfort, that ease, that feeling of, just laying on your belly, hanging out. Noticing how some of the difficulties and hard work of, physically moving the body can melt down into the ground, and the connection you have with the mat and the ground beneath it. Breathing slowly in and out through the nose. Slowly turn the head into the center. Let's go ahead and bring the feet together again. This time, heels come close to the buttocks. Hands come underneath the shoulders first. And we'll start by just bringing the right hand to the outside of the right foot, maybe the right ankle. Once you've gotten that, then you can do the same with the left. And here, your feet, if you have hold of the ankle, can be flexed. If you feel more comfortable holding onto the feet, then just engage the toes a little bit. And we'll keep the nose pointing straight down at the mat for now. Pull the shoulders back and begin to use the legs to pull you up into a bow position. So you're really moving the legs, the feet back, rather than trying to lift with your chest. And you're allowing this to be a stretch for the front of the chest a lot. Keep the feet as close together and the knees as close together as you feel you're able to. And breathe here. We're not going to worry too much about lifting the knees up off the ground so at this moment. Instead, we're just really stretching the front of the chest. One more breath in and out here. And then release, relaxing the legs. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders and press yourself up to hands and knees. Just wiggle around a little bit here, get your bearings in your positioning. Shake the head, no, nod the head, yes. And we're going to try to make a couple of circles with the shoulders here, so kind of just pushing the ground away, pushing away from your fingertips, down towards the ground, and then coming forward towards the fingertips gently. Just rolling through the shoulders a little here. Great. And then spread the fingers wide, middle finger points forward, tuck the back toes under, lift the knees up and back. Find your downward dog, hips rise high. Shake the head out when you get there and keep pushing your weight towards your thighs. Nice. Find stillness as we breathe in and out here. If you begin to feel tension building in your upper body, open the mouth and let out a nice, big breath. Possibly closing the eyes or keeping the gaze on the toes here. Just maintaining this position and allowing your sense of gravity and positioning to adjust to your downward dog. Noticing what happens as you stay. And maintain this position, how the sensations change, how the breath changes. We're slowly going to walk the feet forward towards the hands, bending the knees as we go, till eventually the feet come up from between the fingertips. Feet can touch or be hips width apart, either one is good. Bending the knees, let the arms hang, let the head hang. Feel the stretch and weight of your body hanging over your legs. Bring the hands on top of the feet so you can feel the toes and the tops of the feet. And then bring the hands around to the ankles. And then walk your hands up the backs of the legs. And then slide them around to walk them up the front of the legs. Eventually finding your way into an upright position. And releasing your arms down by your sides. Turn the palms to face out. Find your mountain pose. 2 feet on the ground. Connect with that grounding and rooted sensation in your feet. Pick up the toes and spread them as wide as you can, and then gently try to place the big toes down, and then let each toe follow after. Sway your weight forward so you rise up onto your heels just a little. Maybe try closing the eyes while you do this. And then release the weight back down, full foot on the ground, and see how that feels after you had your weight up off of your heels. Sort of sway the weight over to one side and then the other, around to the back and to the front, making circles. Finally settling into stillness, where you feel your feet on the ground like they were sinking into sand, and you can feel the shape of them. Take a tiny bend in the knees. Notice the mechanics of that ability. Bring the hands to the hips. Send the hips back a little bit and then forward a little bit. Notice what that feels like. And then sway your weight around, sort of like you did with your feet, but this time thinking about the hips and thinking about your body like you're swaying water around a glass, just moving a little bit in a unique way. If it knocks you off balance, that's fine. And settle into the middle. Release the hands back down, palms face forward, and let your chest and belly rise. Your ribs create space between each other. Your shoulders relax down. Your neck becomes long as you bring your chin parallel with the ground and you lift all of that energy up from the bottom of the feet, through the ankles, through the knees, through the hips, through the belly, through the chest and lungs and heart, past your shoulders and throat, up through your face, your ears, your eyes, your forehead, the top of your head as it reaches up high. Bring the hands up overhead as well. Turn the palms in to face each other and reach up as high as you can, stretching. Inhale, and as you exhale, bend the knees, bow down over your legs, forward fold. Feel your sensation of your forward fold as you sway your weight back towards your heels and then forward towards your toes. Maybe the hands can help support you here. In your forward fold, take a look at your hands, spread your fingers wide, bring them underneath the shoulders, and then take a step back with the right knee, lowering right knee down onto the ground to come into our lunge. We'll untuck the right ankle and just lean your weight forward. It's okay if this left knee reaches forward towards the toes, because we're not going to be here for too long, and the knees have to do that sometimes anyways. We're trying to find a stretch for the right front of the hip, but sometimes this will also lean into the sides or the legs. So just notice what comes up. And then we're going to bring the hands back, eventually bringing them behind the heels, walking your weight back so that your weight comes onto your right knee a little bit more. and you can eventually straighten or most of the way straighten your front leg. Front toes can stay on the ground, or maybe not the toes, but at least the ball of the foot. And then we'll inhale to lift the chest up a little bit, lengthening the spine. Exhale, go ahead and hang over that front leg. Just trying to find a deep stretch for the back of the front leg, mostly here. Let's go ahead and bend the knee again. Walk the hands forward again. Tuck the right toes under. Lift the right knee up off the ground. Look at your right foot and pivot right heel down, right toes out to the side. And then bring the hands up to rest on top of the thigh for a moment. Starting to rise up as you begin to find your warrior one. First, just think about your hip. Try to squeeze it in to the midline. And that will help to bring the left knee out. So rather than having your hips over here, you're kind of squeezing it the other way. And then release the arms by your sides and inhale to lift them up. Stay for the exhale. Maybe look up at the fingertips. Inhale again to lift up as high as you can. On this exhale, hands come down by your sides, palms onto the ground, and step your right foot in, coming back to your forward fold. Bend the knees a little bit, hang the head over the legs, release the upper body. Notice sensations that have come that are new or different or the same as they were when you were in your forward fold before your warrior one. Bend those knees enough that you can place both palms on the ground, fingers spread wide. And then step your left foot back this time. Left knee lowers down onto the ground. Untuck the left toes and lean forward. That right knee can come forward towards the front of the mat. Just looking for a stretch for the front of the left hip. It might even feel good to sway a little side to side. Breathing here and noticing what you find, where your sensations are, and where you're holding on that you don't need to. So this back leg can be pretty relaxed. Front leg can be pretty relaxed, although it's holding some weight. The arms are holding more of your weight. And we're just going to reverse this, starting to press into the back knee and the front fingers. Walk the hands back. Keep your hands on the ground for support, eventually straightening, or most of the way straightening your front leg. It might feel good to tuck the back toes just for the knee, so you're welcome to do that if you like to. We'll take a breath in to lengthen the spine, lifting up just a tiny bit, maybe a little higher onto the fingertips. And then exhaling, coming down, letting your back round over your legs. Deeper stretch for the front leg, possibly on the front of the shin, possibly in the back of the hamstring, depending on what your exact positioning and needs are. We'll go ahead and walk those hands forward again. Once again, bending the front knee, tucking the back toes under and lifting the back knee up off the ground. Take a look at your left heel. Pivot left heel down onto the ground as left toes come out. Bend your right knee and bring hands on top of the right knee. And before you come up completely, think about that hip as you lift yourself up. Squeeze the right hip into the center, right knee out to the side a little bit to protect the knee. And then release the hands by the sides. Inhale to lift the arms up. Stay for the exhale. Look up at the fingertips. Inhale to get as tall as you can. On your exhale, lower the hands down, palms to the ground. This time we'll step our right foot back to meet our left, just come into a plank. And then lower the right knee, all the knees down to the ground. Bending the elbows, lower your whole belly down to the ground. We'll come up for a hovering cobra once again. Just hands come up off the ground for a big breath in. And then release, exhale. Push back to hands and knees. And walk your knees forward so you can make your way onto your back. Slide those legs out in front of you. yourself down using your elbows or whatever other means necessary to get completely down onto the ground. You can bend both the knees for a moment, just feeling the lower back on the ground. And let's take a twist before getting into our relaxation. So you always have some options for the twist. What I like to do is start on my side. So let's start on the left side, just kind of roll over onto the left side, stack your knees on top of each other, and try to bring the heels out so they're kind of in line with the knees. You're creating a 90-degree angle with your knees. And then you can stretch your right arm forward, like you're just reaching straight out from your shoulder. And then eventually draw it kind of in and back towards the opposite side. So right arm then stretches out and behind you. You're peeling yourself open. Right shoulder comes behind you. And then from there, you can either take your left hand onto your chest, if it feels good, or maybe bring the left hand straight out. In that process, you can deepen the twist for the shoulders a little bit by pressing into the left elbow to lift the shoulders until you can release both shoulders down onto the ground. If you want a deeper twist, you can also keep the right knee where it is and slide the bottom leg, the left leg, straight down so it's a straight line. And then that right knee will start to hang down towards the ground. If you can make contact with the ground, this is nice. If it's hanging in air, it can feel a little uncomfortable. So I would choose something that feels supported. And it's your choice if you would like to turn your head away from your knees or towards your knees. Both feel nice. Breathing here, noticing the chest expand as you breathe in and breathe out. And softening into this position and this relaxation, allowing your breath to become natural, relaxing the hands and feet. Trying to become as heavy as possible here. Relaxing into the sensation to see what happens. It doesn't have to require a lot of effort to be in these positions for them to have meaningful impacts on your well-being and the way your body feels. You don't need to be working really hard in order to get something good. And come back to center, bringing both knees up towards the ceiling, both feet onto the ground, back onto the ground. You can leave the arms wide if it feels good for a moment, or bring them on to rest onto your belly. And then rolling over to the right side, all the way over onto the right, stacking knees on top of each other, adjusting the position of your body so that you're in about a 90-degree angle bend on the knees. Your right hand can be underneath your head or stretched out in front of you, whatever you like. And then let's start with the left hand stretching straight forward and sort of draw the left hand back like you're pulling back on an arrow until you eventually lower left hand all the way behind you. And then again, your choice, right hand might stay on the chest or stretch out to the right. Find your position that you can settle into, maybe pressing into that right elbow to lift the right shoulder a little bit, allow a deeper chest twist, and then relax the body. Maybe lowering that bottom leg down to stretch it out if it feels good, to get that nice deep twist. Maybe keeping the head facing straight up towards the ceiling, but possibly turning your head towards either the right or the left. And noticing and choosing whichever position feels the most relaxed. Breathing naturally here.
letting your body be very heavy on the ground. Noticing and keeping note of some of the sensations that come into your body when you are still. If you have a particular feeling in any part of your body, maybe your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your belly, your knees, your hips, your feet or your ankles, or some other part of your legs. If you happen to notice something that's happening in the eyes or mouth, just kind of taking stock in the stillness, and if there's a strong sensation coming from the stretch, obviously you'll register that as well. I'll slowly come into the center, bring the knees up towards the ceiling, feet onto the ground. Bring your arms down by the sides, palms face up towards the ceiling. Then let's stretch the right foot up towards the ceiling, and then the left foot up towards the ceiling, straightening those legs out. And just point and flex the toes a little bit, maybe circle the ankles a little. Maybe even shake the legs out. And then lower both legs down, first feet onto the ground, and then sliding them out long so that your body is on your mat, feet rolled out to the side, arms by your side. Slowly walk those shoulders down away from the ears. Make any little adjustments you need to in order to relax into your Shavasana position. Breathing naturally. Finding some stillness. Gently scanning your body, starting with the forehead and the face. Notice the eyes, soften and relax the eyes. Notice the darkness behind your eyelids. If you're squeezing your eyes closed, gently close them instead. Notice the ears and the sides of the face, if there's any sensation there. Gently separate the teeth and bring the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Notice the neck, consciously allowing your neck to relax because your head is completely supported here. And similarly with the shoulders, their weight to bear is significantly lessened when you're laying on the ground. So thinking about that, allowing the gravity to assist you in releasing any tightness or tension or holding on to in your shoulders and neck. Softening the right arm, bicep, and thinking about the elbow, the forearm, the wrist, and the fingers, how they're all connected, sending some appreciation to the dexterity and use of these limbs. And repeating the same thing with the left arm, thinking about that left bicep, the strength, the range in the elbow, the power of the forearm, dexterity of the fingers, and giving gratitude and appreciation to your body's abilities. Bringing your awareness back to your chest and thinking about the ease and health of your heart and your lungs, the well-being of the internal organs of the body with love and appreciation, similarly with the muscles in the back and the bones running along the spine.
Picturing your belly softening and relaxing, no matter how toned and muscular it is, allowing it to be completely happy. Similarly with the pelvis and the glutes, creating a sensation of ease in the body every opportunity we can. Thinking about the right leg, considering the right muscles and the right leg to be soft, relaxed. Similarly with the joints in the knees and ankles and hips, and in the structure of the feet. Sending gratitude and thankfulness for the ability of your legs and feet. How they assist you in your sitting, walking, standing, laying. And then once again, bringing the awareness up and back to the left leg. Appreciation and thankfulness for your left thigh, knee, calf, ankle, and foot. Imagining those muscles and joints releasing and relaxing into a soft and supported state, suspended in pleasant liquid of some sort, holding you up and supporting you, and releasing the necessity for your body to do anything consciously. Being completely supported, completely safe in this stillness with your body, with your mind, and with the energy that is shared amongst you and all things and all beings. Surrounded by opportunity and acceptance and abundance and patience, we can begin to create more of what we and others need and pass it along beyond us by starting with ease and relaxation. And true creativity and equality come from starting from a quiet place. As we continue to breathe in stillness here, feel the connection between our bodies and the air around our bodies. And then slowly beginning to move the bodies, move the toes and the fingers, and feel the way that your self, your physical form, is moving through that space that you created. Similarly, as you roll your head side to side and begin to rotate the feet side to side, articulating the legs and hips and gently moving shoulders until you eventually come to bend both your knees and roll over onto your side, taking any movements you feel you would like to in the process. Crawling up and feeling immense gratitude for something outside of yourself. It's very important to be grateful for our own selves, but we also have to go beyond. And bring the hands down to the ground and push yourself up to a seated position, closing the eyes to find a seated, upright position with the hands either in the lap or on the knees. Shoulders relaxed, sitting naturally and tall. Eyes closed, lips gently closed as we breathe in and out through the nose. Feeling the sensations of our body, the space that we occupy and how we move through that space. A sensation we've become so familiar with, we can't feel it, but we can visualize it. I'll close with one Om. I'll begin by taking a big breath in and emptying out the lungs. So you're completely empty of air. Inhale again. The right hand on top of the chest, left hand on top of the right, and bow the head. Thank you for practicing with me and sharing your practice.